What's good, YouTube, and welcome to another KaibaHacksDartz Yu-Gi-Oh video. Today we're here with another deck list, deck profile, deck update, whatever you love to call them. And this is my Roid deck for June 2025. As always, it's a work in progress. And if you like this kind of sauce, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that little notification bell. But it does have some interesting little sauce, some fun ideas, a cool direction I want to take it in the future. So we started off with 3 Express Roid. When this card is summoned, you can target 2 Roid monsters in your graveyard except Express Roid. Add those targets to your hand. So great little recycle piece. And about a little way into it, we'll show the secret fun sauce we got kicking. Next, we got Mixer Roid, just an absolute boss for the Roid cards. It is, you contribute 1 machine monster and special summon 1 non-wind Roid monster from your deck. You can pay half your life points and banish any number of machine monsters from your graveyard, including this card, and special summon from your extra deck 1 Roid fusion monster with the same level as the number of those banished monsters, ignoring its summoning conditions, but destroy it during the end phase. And you can only use each effect of Mixeroid once per turn. So a great piece for obviously searching specific ones, and just for, comboing off into those fusion pieces. But he's slightly essential for what we're building up. Next, we got 2 Ambulance Roid. I'd like to take this to 3, at least for the idea that I have. But what it is when a Roid monsters is added from your graveyard to hand, except during the damage step, you can special summon it. So, obviously it works very well with your Express Roid, because, you're adding 2 Roid monsters to hand. So if you pop that off with him, bam, big recycle power. But that's not essentially what we're using him for. We will kind of get into it. Next, we got 1 Rescue Roid. I'd like to take this up to 3 as well. It is when a Roid monster you control is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can return that monster to the hand. You must control this face-up card on the field to activate and resolve this effect. Now notice, neither of these are once per turn, so if you can get both of these guys on the field, that's where a kind of strange combo begins. Obviously, if a monster is destroyed by battle, while these 2 guys are out on the field, a Roid monster, it's going to be sent to your hand because of Rescue Roid, and then it's going to be special summoned because of your Ambulance Roid. So you can start to do some weird combos here. And that's where we move into the very fun piece of the deck. Another one I'd like to bring up to 3, but only have 1 of at the moment. And that is your Dark Roid. Now, if you notice, this isn't necessarily a Roid monster. But in TCG fashion, it was named, the Dark Roid. Not really thinking of how the Roid monsters work. So technically speaking, he does work as a Roid monster, which is some great sauce. Because the weird play we kind of want to get off with this deck is to get all 3 of these cards on the field, an Ambulance Roid, a Rescue Roid, and a Dark Roid, and then essentially in the battle phase, we could keep attacking over and over again with Dark Roid, obviously taking life points for it each time, but each time he's summoned, you can select 1 face-up monster on the field, and it loses 800 attack permanently. So every time he's being recycled, which you could do a bunch of times in 1 turn, and there's different ways to kind of tech it. It's a new idea I'm working with, these non-Roid Roids. So essentially, we could maybe bring him out like 5 times and hit until something is so low that we can start to do some weird sauce. So moving them to the side, like I said, I'd like to get more Dark Roids for specifically this play. To take it into the non-Roid kind of Roid era. Another one of these, I believe there is another one, I can't think of it at the moment just because I don't have a copy of it, but we have Salomon Great Zebroid X. Now, he is, once again, not a Roid card, technically speaking, but because in the TCG he has Roid in his name, we can use some of the various Roid effects. Obviously, we can use Mixeroid and Tribute a Machine to search, him, or special summon him, or Dark Geroid. You know, so there's a lot of potential there, and of course, all the effects that are at least generic enough to not limit them, you know, to just the kind of like machine roids and stuff like that. But I won't really go into his effect, because it's basically inherently useless for the deck so far. Other than Salomon Great stuff, he just gives, I think it's 300 attack for each material attached to an Xyz monster that you summoned using him. So I guess it could be something. We don't really have Xyz plays in here, but it is what it is. Another kind of piece to that Dark Geroid combo I was mentioning is the Meteor Rush Monocroid. And what you could potentially do, because his effect here is, during the battle phase, if 5 or more attacks have been declared this turn, quick effect, you can special summon this card from your hand, and you can only use this effect of Meteor Rush Monocroid once per turn. If this card battles, it gains 1000 attack for each attack declared this turn during the damage step only. So, in theory, you could potentially get that Dark Geroid combo out, going and going while this thing's in your hand, to some very high numbers, you know, depending on life points and stuff, and maybe how you work that into the deck. But could also get him special summoned in the battle phase, so he's in your hand, and you're just building up, and you hit that point in your combo where their monster maybe has 0 attack, or one of their monsters does, and you could bring out Dark or Meteor Rush Monocroid, and have him gain those thousands for each attack during, you know, that battle phase. And I'm sure there's other ways you could work it as well. Next, for some just kind of fun sauce, some filler, we threw in 2 Armoroid. I figured they work well in the grave, and also could just be some, you know, fun destruction power, or maybe just a little bit of beat stickiness, because the roids don't have too much attack going for them. For some genericiness, we threw in 2 Cyber Dragon, a great little combo maybe with the Mixer Roid, stuff like that. And it opens up some other fusion potential. That is definitely another way to take the deck, is to make it, you know, half Cyber Dragon-y, half or not, I went to say Submarinoid because that's the next card, half Roids. But, and to take it in other directions, you know, of course, if you have any ideas, leave them in the comments for ideas other than kind of maybe a mix of Cyber Dragon or a mix of these non-Roid cards. So for some one-offs, we just have Submarine Roid. He can attack directly, but when it does, using this effect, the battle damage inflicted to your opponent is the original attack of this card. At the end of the damage step, if this card battled, you can change this card to defense position. So, he's just a generic-y kind of piece. We have a lot of the Roid one-offs for those fusion plays. Same with Stealth Roid. At the end of your battle phase, if this card battled, target 1 spell/trap card on the field and destroy that target. You must control another Roid monster to activate and resolve this effect. So, you know, another one-off for those fusion plays. Same with Truck Roid here. Pretty much, if this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, equip the destroyed monster to this card and gains attack equal to the combined attack of the monsters equipped by this effect. Next, Drill Roid. Same sauce for fusion-y plays. Before damage calculation, if this card attacks a defense position monster, destroy that monster. And Steam Roid. Lastly, if this card attacks an opponent's monster, this card gains 500 attack during the damage step only, and if it is attacked by an opponent's monster, it loses 500 attack during the damage step only. So it can be a bit of a beat sticky card, an absolute Roid classic. Now, of course, like I said, this is a work in progress, so there's a lot of potential cards I could work into here, some newer Roid sauce, but I do want to take it in that Dark Geroid-y direction. I think that's some fun stuff, or just kind of the other Roids, the Salomon Great, Zebroid X. I'm not sure, I haven't tested it on Master Duel to see if you can get away with it on there. Let me know if that's something you know, but it's something I will eventually test, probably by the next update of this deck. Next, we got 2 Viacroid Connection Zone. Fusion summon 1 Viacroid fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as fusion material, and if you do, it cannot be destroyed by card effects, and its effects cannot be negated. So there's some potential sauce there, obviously, for the Viacroid fusion monsters only, but... Next, we got 2 Power Bond. Fusion summon 1 fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as fusion material, and it gains attack equal to its original attack. During the end phase of the turn this card is activated, you take damage equal to the amount of attack gained from the effect at the time of that summon. So, there's lots of potential there. I don't have him in the deck, but Pair Roid is obviously a great combo piece with that, but it works well with a lot of different machine fusion stuff. Next, we threw in 2 Double Summon. Figured there's a lot of potential for this, just to, bring out that possible Dark Roid combo, or just to go into other stuff. For some removal, we just threw in a Cosmic Cyclone. The classic-y. And then a Monster Reborn. Pretty self-explanatory. And then for a little bit of draw power / recycle power, we have the Pot of Avarice. Target 5 monsters in your graveyard. Shuffle all 5 into the deck, then draw 2 cards. There's a lot of potential for getting those monsters in the graveyard, or just kind of going off that at different points. Moving into traps, we threw in 3 Wonder Garage. I'd probably take this down in the future. It's just in lieu of some other kind of roidy tech. But it is when this set card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon 1 level 4 lower machine Roid monster from your hand. Obviously can't use it on Dark Roid and the Cyber Solomon Great guy, but it is what it is. Supercharge, same thing, can't really use it with the weird boys, but if an opponent's monster declares an attack while monsters you control are machine Roid monsters, minimum 1, draw 2 cards. And this isn't limited to once per turn or anything, so you could maybe go for a fat combo if you drew into 3 of them. Could be a good accelerator. It's just something worth testing out. We're seeing what the pieces, that come with the deck structure kind of roll out to be. Next, we got 2 Call of the Haunted. Just recycle power for, fusion plays, the Dark Roid play we were mentioning, stuff like that. We do have just an excess of that just to kind of bring out that rescue Roid since we only have 1 of them and, get them recycled. Emerge Roid Call. Absolute beast of a card. Probably bring this up to 2 or 3 in the future. When a spell / trap card or monster effect is activated while you control a Roid fusion monster, negate the activation, then send all cards with the same name as that card from the activating player's deck and extra deck to the graveyard. You can banish this card from the graveyard, then target 1 Roid monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand. So there's a lot of potential there, and of course just maybe, using cards to just get this in the graveyard straight from your hand or deck, or just getting rid of it to use that secondary effect is also some great potential. Next, a Reckless Greed, more draw power, how we like it. And that's it for the main deck. We'll show off what we got for the extra deck. I know I have a couple duplicates of these somewhere, possibly, like triplicates, but I'm not exactly sure. I know I had a little stash somewhere for this video, and then I completely lost sight of them. But of course, we threw in Steam Gyroid. We don't have the Gyroid in the deck, but we threw him in there anyway. There's some potential there. Of course, there's lots of cards you could use, possibly like Fusion Recovery, I believe, or I don't know if that's the name of the card, Fusion something, or you can search like Polymerization and a named fusion monster, and then Fusion Deployment, I know, is a very similar card. Ambulance Rescue Roid, though, as well. Rescue Roid and Ambulance Roid, obviously we have those boys. Must be fusion summoned. Once per turn, when a monster you control is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon that monster in defense position. Is he that good of an alternative? Not necessarily, but it is what it is. None of them are actually super techy, at least in terms of what we got so far. Super Vikroid Jumbo Drill, Steamroid Drill Roid, and Submarine Roid. A fusion summon of this card can only be done with the above fusion materials, and if this card attacks a defense position monster, inflict battle piercing. Or piercing battle damage, sorry. So, it's just a Jumbo Drill. It's the same thing. Drill Roid with more attack. Then we have a Super Vikroid Stealth Union. An absolute boss piece here. Once per turn, you can target 1 face-up non-machine monster on the field, equip that target to this card, and well equipped with a monster by this effect, this card can attack all monsters your opponent controls once each. And if this card attacks, its original attack is halved. If this card attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage. So there is some weird kind of tangibility where you could potentially even equip one of your own monsters to them. I don't know. There's some weird sauce there. But obviously a pretty beef stick card. And then just to kind of cover the subtype of, adding cyber dragons and stuff, we threw in a Chimera Tech Over Dragon. I know I have a couple copies of some of the other tech for it, but I figured you know what it is. It could be sauced in here, obviously. And that does cover the deck. Like I said, let me know if you have any comments, any ways, anything you think I could do to boost it up other than, maybe just some of the more generic-y, newer Roid sauce that I know I could get in there. But I do like the spicy Dark Gearoid stuff, and I think that getting that weird combo I mentioned going could be really fun, could be exciting. And let me know if it works or not on Master Duel. I'll probably still test it. I mean, if someone, I'll still test it regardless, even if someone says no, it doesn't. But I think it should, in theory, and I know it definitely runs in the TCG. And let me know if there's any other non-Roid cards. You know what I mean? The non-Roid, non-machines, but they're Roid cards. Because I'd love to add them to the deck, especially if they have some, funky strats that we could maybe cook up in there. But otherwise, that was the deck. Like I said, let me know if there's anything you think I'm missing, any cool pieces you think I could tech up. And like I said, let me know if you think it works on Master Duel. Otherwise, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And hit that little notification bell so you know when future content's coming out. Make sure to check out my other stuff. I do pack openings, deck profiles, all kinds of Yu-Gi-Oh content. And it'd be greatly appreciated if you could check out the membership program we're offering for a few dolans. You can support the channel, help me get more Yu-Gi-Oh cards and more stuff, enter into more tournaments, stuff like that, make more content for you guys. Full circle, Otherwise, thanks for watching, and peace.